Hi, Democrats. Today is Wednesday, November 15th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. Alrighty, so this week I'm dedicating to reminding you of reasons to vote. I really shouldn't have to remind you for a reason to vote, but this is where we are. So Monday I talked about the reason to vote was because in Enid, as an example, as at a city council level in Enid, they have a Nazi sympathizer sitting on the city council, and they are in the middle of a recall petition where they're going around knocking doors of people who live in that district to have that person unseated. And every fourth person that they talk to is signing the petition because they believe in it, which leads me to know that they weren't paying attention when it was time to vote. And they allowed the election of a Nazi sympathizer to be on their city council. That's what happens when folks do not pay attention when it's time to vote and don't vote the entire ballot, right? A lot of folks get focused on president and Congress, and they're not they don't pay as much attention to the state level and to the state house and state senate and school board and city councilor and county assessor. Those races affect your life on a daily basis. And a lot of times folks don't pay attention to those. And that's how we end up with a Nazi sympathizer sitting on a city council. Yesterday's reason to vote was, let's talk about Senate level. I hate to even say his name because I've heard it so much today, but Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, our junior senator of Oklahoma, was filmed, and you guys have seen it. He was on the Senate floor in a committee challenging a union member, a union rep, to a fight. Literally challenging, while he was sitting in his official capacity on a committee, challenging someone to a fist fight, because that's how we solve issues in the states, the U.S. Senate.
That pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down.
Okay.
You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing.
Pretends like he's self.
I don't know if you heard the Teamster. When the senator stood up, and it hurts to even say the senator, but he was elected. When the senator stood up, the president of the Teamsters union said, "Is this how you solve all of your problems?" So that embarrassment was earned, right? That was yesterday's reason. That was yesterday's reason of why it's important to pay attention and vote. We ended up with, and I mean it, we ended up with Senator Mullen, because the polls said he has a lot of money and no one has a shot against him. And folks believed the polls and didn't show up and didn't work as hard and didn't do a thing. We could have had Kendra Horn, a proven leader, but the polls said she didn't have enough money, that she didn't have enough ground game. That's what the polls said. And so I want to take today to say this. Polls don't vote. Voters vote. And it is our job to inspire voters to show up despite the polls, regardless of the polls. If we believe in our candidate, and I'm here to tell you that I believed in Kendra Horn because I called and begged her to run. I'm not saying she decided to run because I begged her, but I'm just telling you what my actions are. I believed in Kendra Horn. I begged her to run. I told everybody I knew to vote for her. I stumped for her because I believed in her. And folks, everywhere I went, talked to me about polls. I don't care about polls. Do not care about polls. What I care about is the work that I can control. I can't control a poll. But what I can do is talk to everybody I know about the importance of voting. That's what I'm doing today. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm not waiting until October. I'm not waiting to the beginning of November to start telling you to vote. I am telling you now. And go ahead and get used to it. You're going to hear this message almost on a loop for the next year. It is important to vote your entire ballot every time there's one with your name on it. Every time your name is in that little book, you need to show up and cast your ballot. And not just for the top things on the ticket, but the entire ballot, which is why I strongly encourage everyone, when it's time to vote, I'm on here saying, go out, look at your sample ballot out on the Oklahoma State Election Board, put in your name, your birthday, and you can look at your sample ballot and study it so you know what's going to be on the ballot. Don't catch yourself in the ballot and get down to the bottom and not know. Research your entire ballot. Or you can watch me. It's only 15 minutes a day. I'm going to tell you what's on the ballot. I'm going to remind you. I'm going to encourage you. We're going to have folks on here so that you can learn about them. It's important to vote your entire ballot. So on Monday, I talked about city council, and yesterday I talked about U.S. Senate. Today, I'm going to talk about Corporation Commission. I know you hear Corporation Commission and you're like, I don't even know. I think those are the names on the gas pump. Yeah, they're the names on the gas pump because they're the folks who regulate pricing for utilities, regulate pricing for fuel. They regulate pricing. We don't pay attention to that seat. There are three folks. So let me tell you why you need to pay attention. You live in Oklahoma and our weather is bananas, right? Just in June, I was without electricity for 8 days because of a thing that they finally got around to calling a tornado. We've had the crazy winters where all of the utility companies, gas and electric, have lobbied our state and said, we need to raise the rates to pay for that happened. I don't get it because I'll tell you, I feel like I paid for it when it happened. When I didn't have electricity for 8 days, my bill was no less than it was the month before, the month after. Seems like it would have gone down by 25% since there were 25% of days when I didn't have the use of it, but it didn't go down. I feel like when we have to run our heat at crazy levels all during the winter because it's freezing and it's freezing for 8 days or freezing for months in a row, I feel like we're paying for it in that moment. But every time something like that happens, the utility companies run to the Corporation Commission and ask for permission to raise our rates. And it feels like every time they go down and ask for them, we allow them to raise our rates. The Attorney General stepped in and said, for that particular storm, no, you can't. It was a winter storm. You can't raise the rates. The Corporation Commission said, I don't care what he says. And they allowed PSO to raise the rates. We had a better than qualified candidate running for Corporation Commission last year. A law school professor, educated at the University of Texas, Columbia, and Harvard, who actually teaches utility regulation. That's better than qualified. And she did not get elected. Right? A career politician who's had several political jobs got elected in that space and just voted to allow PSO to raise utility rates after the Attorney General said no. That's why it's important to understand your entire ballot, to vote your entire ballot. I've deliberately chosen races that I think people weren't paying attention to. We should have been paying attention to the state Senate race because we actually had 2 state Senate races on our ballot at the same time, which is a thing that doesn't happen. But everybody was focused on governor, superintendent of public instruction, where we went way wrong on both of those races. And that's all anybody was talking about, while we had plenty of qualified candidates running for Senate. We had plenty of candidates running, but the polls said they didn't have a chance. And so we spent all of our time on just these races when we could have had a reasonable person where we would not have seen one photo of what happened in that meeting yesterday, because there wouldn't have been a fist fight challenge. It is important that we pay attention to our entire ballot. And here's the thing. We are not surprised that the junior senator challenged someone to a fist fight. We are not surprised. Or I'm not surprised. It's not the first time he's done it. And based on everything he's saying on the news today, it won't be the last time he does it. He's the same man who snuck into Afghanistan with suitcases full of money because he was going to Rambo it out. He doesn't play well with others. He doesn't care about others. And he's embarrassing our state. And he was just elected. We had an opportunity. We had an opportunity to elect someone reasonable, and folks weren't paying attention, or they were paying attention to polls. I'm not sure what was happening. Polls don't vote, people do. And we all have to be paying attention to our entire ballot. Now, let's talk about something we got right at the polls. President Biden is celebrating and we are all celebrating the second anniversary of the infrastructure bill, right? Where we got tons of money for roads and bridges. And that's a big deal that helps us here in Oklahoma. There are a lot of good paying jobs created from the infrastructure bill. And we are expanding broadband, and Oklahoma has gotten a lot of money. Oklahoma specifically, not the nation. Oklahoma specifically has received a lot of money to expand broadband. The challenge is what we are doing with the money now that we have it. But from Biden to Oklahoma, we've received the money. That's what happens when you elect someone who's about getting things done. Democrats deliver. So if I leave you with nothing else, it's that Democrats need to stand up and be proud Democrats. Vote for and elect more Democrats. Brag on and encourage folks to elect more Democrats. And for those of you who somehow are watching me and want to talk about bipartisanship and all that kind of good stuff, I wish we could talk about bipartisanship. That's not where we are at this moment in time. What needs to happen right now, particularly at state level, municipal level, city council in Oklahoma, is that we need to elect more Democrats so that we at least have some balance. At least we have some balance in all of these positions of legislation. We have some balance so that the extremists don't get to run away. So if there's someone in the room that says, wait a minute, wait, that's not a great idea. Maybe we should do this. And when we have more balance, I will gladly have the conversation about bipartisanship. I will gladly have the conversation about reaching across the aisle, and maybe the sides aren't so bad. But right now, at this moment in history, the right is being governed by the most extreme of their party. And so, yes, I stand proudly, or I sit proudly in front of you and say, we need to elect more Democrats. I don't want to hear Green Party. Don't. I don't want to hear alternative third party. We got to talk about who has a chance of winning. And Democrats have a chance of winning if we all stand firm, work together, and vote every time. Thanks for joining me. I will be back here tomorrow at 4:15, where I will hopefully be joined by Representative Mickey Dollins. Have a good evening.